You know how the TV detectives always say, follow the money? I started thinking about this Matthias meltdown, this melodrama, this spectacle unfolding before us as those super chats rolled in. And so my investigation into Hidden True Crime's financial empire started there. I have a complicated relationship with money. I think a lot of people who have been in a relationship where money was a form of control can end up having complex feelings. So anybody who tries to say that I'm somehow just envious of Hidden True Crime's income, relax. I don't care, not like that. I love to see people succeed. I love it more when they use part of their income to make a meaningful difference toward an underserved cause. If you have been here before, you know that I have opted out of super chats and memberships. I don't have a QR code or a Cash App or a Venmo or any of those things. And I feel like sponsorships are disrespectful to viewers, holding you captive to a commercial that's been thinly disguised as content. I don't judge people who do. It's just not the path for me. It would be crowded if we were all on the same path, wouldn't it? So, I'm pretty removed from understanding how YouTube money works, which makes me a good candidate for the task ahead. My quest started with the basics. How much did that 9-hour and 9-minute mega meltdown yield? As of October 24th, the video had been live for 8 days. The channel had 321,000 subscribers and had accumulated 405,000 views. I counted up the supers received during the stream, then adjusted for foreign currency. I put them in a spreadsheet and let the machine do the math. YouTube takes a 30% cut of their additional earning programs, so I subtracted that. Net income from live supers, $664.53. Next, I counted the supers received after the stream, which I didn't even know was a thing. There were fewer of these, so I was able to take screenshots. I adjusted for foreign currency and subtracted YouTube's 30% cut. Income from post live supers, $446.49. So far, we're up to $1,111.02. A strong start. I had to turn to Grok for the AdSense insight. It gave me a little tutorial about how to calculate the AdSense myself, which I'd be happy to make a video about if you're interested. The estimated range was $1,215 to $2,835. So let's take the average, $2,025. So just that video on the day of the analysis yielded an estimated total of $3,136.02. But Grok mentioned something else, memberships. It indicated that this is the real moneymaker. Grok estimated a conversion rate for a channel with 321,000 subscribers at 1% to 5%. Well, 1% of 321,000 is 3,210 members. If each of those members were paying $4.99 per month, that's over $16,000 a month. I did the math several times just to be sure, but Grok had estimated the conversion rate between 1% and 5%, which means 2, 3, 4, or 5 times that much per month. 16,000, 32,000, 48,000, 64,000, or even 80,000. When I tell you the gasp, I gasped. If I was going to be doing all this math, I needed an easier method. I rounded it off to $5 per month. Then I remembered that YouTube takes their 30% cut, so I adjusted for that. I started wondering, with cash like that, why were Lauren and John always pushing so hard for people to become Patreon members? Well, it turns out that Patreon only takes a 10% cut of the revenue. So it turns out that Patreon is significantly more profitable than YouTube, as much as 6 figures more per year if there are more than 9,600 members, almost $200,000 if even 5% of the YouTube subscribers are $5 Patreon members instead of YouTube members. But what if 3% of the subscribers from YouTube had $5 memberships with YouTube And also, 3% of the subscribers had $5 memberships with Patreon. That's over $77,000 a month, $924,000 a year, even after the platforms have taken out their percentage. Almost $1 million a year just in $5 memberships. But here are the YouTube tiers offered by HTC. Remember, these prices are a monthly recurring fee. Some members are paying 2 times, 3 times, 5 times, or even 10 times that basic math that we did. What did the memberships look like over at Patreon? Over there, HTC offers only 4 tiers: $5, $15, $25, and $50. And the $15 per month tier is flagged as the most popular. See that little red box above the $15 tier? Even if 1% of the YouTube subscribers, 3,200 people, have monthly memberships from the $15 tier, after we adjust for Patreon's fees, that's a net proceed of over $43,000 per month. So let's run the numbers again, assuming 3% of the subscribers are on the $5 per month plan with YouTube and 3% are on the most popular plan of $15 per month with Patreon. After the platforms deduct their fees, that's almost $164,000 per month. So let's put that on the monthly ledger. But we know that not every member is choosing the lowest amount. Imagine how much 1% of their subscriber count could yield at each tier after we deduct the 10% cut for Patreon. And that is monthly. Holy cats, right? Can you imagine annually? If the only revenue stream that they had was Patreon, and they only had 1% of their subscribers at the top tier, they would still be earning nearly $2 million per year net. As it stands, with my estimate of 3% of the subscribers having a $5 membership on YouTube and 3% of the subscribers having the most popular $15 plan on Patreon, they're still netting $1,964,520 per year from memberships. Let's update the annual ledger. So that covers 2 revenue streams, but 3 remain: sponsorships, merch, and AdSense. Sponsorships. Ugh, you know what I'm talking about. The VPN companies and the HelloFresh meal prep type companies are the most insidious. With HiddenTrueCrime's sky-high retention and a fan base that hangs on every twist, if you think true crime is just views, wait till you see the cash that brands pay to whisper into those loyal ears. Picture this: a 60-second mid-roll where Lauren drops a promo code for a VPN or a meal prep kit. With 80,000 to 100,000 views per video and viewers glued for over half the runtime, that's prime real estate. In 2025, mid-tier channels with engagement this strong command $3,000 to $8,000 flat per ad read, or $20 to $50 CPM. CPM seems to be a method where someone is paid by the views instead of the flat rate. $4,000 to $7,000 directly into the creator's pocket, per sponsor, per video. Now zoom in on the usual suspects. VPNs like Nord, Surfshark, and Express love true crime audiences who are worried about privacy. They'll drop $5,000 to $10,000 flat for a single integration, sometimes tossing in a 20 to 40% affiliate commission on signups. One well-tracked code can add thousands more. Then there's the meal prep delivery. Factor, HelloFresh, Hungryroot, they target busy true crime binges. Sponsorships from these companies can pay channels $4,000 to $8,000 flat, plus 15 to 30% on every box shipped with the channel's code. Peak seasons, like New Year's resolutions, rates climb 20%. With 2 to 4 sponsorships a month and careful spacing, Like one ad every 3 to 5 videos to avoid fatigue, Hidden True Crime could easily pull 10,000 to 30,000 monthly from ad reads alone. That's between $120,000 and $360,000 yearly. Bottom line, sponsorships turn loyal ears into a six-figure ATM. Again, back to the ledger. Let's split the difference and estimate 20,000 per month, bringing their net monthly income subtotal to $183,710 and their net annual income to $2,204,520. Next up, merch. I predicted merchandise was probably a wash. I assumed that the value was probably coming from turning fans into walking billboards, advertising the channel. This is why I avoid branded clothing. The idea of, let me pay you a premium price to advertise your company, just isn't well with my soul. But to my surprise, Grok indicates that merch can be a steady and substantial source of revenue for a channel with a loyal subscriber base. And those hidden gems are certainly loyal. Here's what Grok told me about the potential revenue. It turns out that merch isn't just swag, it's a gold mine for mid tier channels like Hidden True Crime. With high retention rates, think viewers sticking around for over 50% of those long form episodes, and strong engagement, such as 5 to 10% likes and comments, this channel has built strong parasocial bonds. Fans feel connected to hosts Lauren and Dr. John Matthias, treating them like trusted storytellers in the true crime world. Emotional loyalty is rocket fuel for sales. Grok's Intel has identified 10 to 20% of subscribers as superfans who buy to show support. So, what can a channel like this expect from merch? Based on industry benchmarks for 2025, monthly gross revenue could range from $3,000 to $12,000. Annually, that's $36,000 to $144,000, netting $1,200 to $8,400 per month after costs. These numbers come from print-on-demand setups like Bonfire or Creator Spring, where Hidden True Crime sells everything from $25 tees with clever true crime slogans to $43 hoodies, hats, and more. Average order value? Around $30 to $50, with solid 40% to 70% profit margins. Why so lucrative? High loyalty means 1 to 3% of subs might buy yearly, spiking to 5% with exclusive drops tied to episodes, such as limited edition hidden gem merch exclusively for Patreon supporters. At 500,000 monthly views across videos, that's potential for $3,000 to $10,000 monthly from merch alone. True crime fans love belonging to the community, so inside jokes or case-inspired catchphrases fly off the virtual shelves. In the true crime niche, merch isn't just income. It's a way to deepen that fan connection. So, what should we pencil in for merch revenue? What's a conservative estimate? Let's average the range provided of net revenue after costs, $4,800 per month, which is $57,600 per year. Finally, YouTube AdSense. Detectives, it is time to dust for AdSense prints, that passive cash that flows while Hidden True Crime unravels those culty cases. With 321,000 subs, high retention, and a fan base that hangs on nearly every word that Dr. John says, this isn't your average CPM. Let's run the numbers like a forensic accountant. Step 1, the views. High engagement channels like this turn 25 to 40% of subscribers into regular viewers. That's 80,000 to 128,000 views per video. With 4 to 6 uploads a month, it translates to 320,000 to 768,000 monthly views. Step 2, the RPM magic. True crime is considered premium real estate. Long-form videos, loyal 25 to 44-year-old US and UK, Australian and Canadian fans, and viewers watching over half the runtime. These trigger $6 to $12 RPM, revenue per mil means thousand, after YouTube takes its 45% cut. Creators keep 55%, which they may not even realize because YouTube presents it as if the revenue is the full amount. The number that you're going to see on the screen is the number that shows up in the bank account. Step 3, the math. HiddenTrueCrime's AdSense range is about $2,000 to $9,200 monthly, converting to a range of $24,000 to $110,000 a year. Most likely, their AdSense is landing between $4,000 and $7,000 per month, or $48,000 to $84,000 annually. It may not look like it, but this is pretty juicy for AdSense revenue. This is due to the following factors. Retention equals more ads. 50% plus watch time unlocks 4 to 6 mid-rolls per video. Next, demographics gold. True crime fans equal higher income binge-watching adults, so advertisers pay 2 to 3 times more. Basically, those 25 to 44-year-old true crime fans are advertiser catnip. Then seasonality. October, True Crime Month, spikes RPM 20 to 30%. Finally, playlists and rewatches. Fans re-binge old cases, and extra watch time equals extra cash. Now, a closer look. End screens, cards, and playlists keep viewers looping. One 40-minute deep dive can serve up 6 ads. Bottom line, AdSense is the steady heartbeat, not the headline, but $4,000 to $7,000 in average monthly revenue keeps the lights on, while memberships, sponsorships, and merch steal the show. Back to our ledgers. If we average the range, we get $5,500 monthly and $66,000 per year. AdSense was the one that I felt least confident about, so I turned to some online insight. Social Blade is a website that tracks some social media metrics somewhat reliably. Emphasis on the somewhat. Basically, I wanted to check their math against my own. The annual range they estimated was between $7,800 and $125,000, so I added the two numbers and then divided the sum to get an average. They landed at $66,400, which was only $400 more than my calculation of $66,000. I think that's a good sign. So let's take one last look at the monthly potential before we look at the annual. Remember, these are low to average conservative estimates, and all the fees have already been subtracted. Sure, there are income taxes, but there are also a metric ton of tax deductions. Travel, hotel, meals, internet, phones, equipment, website hosting, home office offsetting a portion of the mortgage and utility bills, even Grayson's salary. And hopefully she has good insurance with that whole dental situation. For our purposes, we're just looking at the raw net income after the platform takes its cut. After we add up the net revenue from YouTube memberships, Patreon memberships, sponsorships, merch, and AdSense, our estimated monthly total is $194,010. When we review the estimated annual total, we get $2,328,120 per year. Since we used the low conservative numbers, especially in the membership section, it's possible that the true number is closer to 2 or even 3 times this amount. And check out this pie chart. A staggering 67%, more than 2/3 of that annual income, comes from Patreon memberships, with the YouTube memberships a distant second place at 14.4%. Sponsorships and ad reads are 10.3% of the annual income, and AdSense and merch combined are barely over 5%. Good thing I'm not in this for the money, or I would be missing out in a big way. There's another website called Playboard where you can apparently see info about the super chats. I checked it on October 28th, 2025, and it showed that HTC had a super chat total of $59,542. I don't know if that's a lifetime total or an annual total or what. I'm guessing that it's probably the channel's lifetime total. I checked my own to see if it could help me understand. It didn't. Like, I didn't even have enough data to make cool charts, apparently. And you only get to touch 3 buttons before it locks the website until tomorrow without a paid membership. Oh, and while we're here, let's address the rumor about Hidden True Crime supposedly purchasing subscribers. People are suspicious because apparently Lauren and John have never displayed the silver play button that YouTubists receive a few days after crossing the 100,000 subscriber mark. Channels that have engaged in funny business or who have been demonetized for having the wrong stance about things, the way that Turtle Boy previously was, are not eligible for the Silver Play Button award. Lauren has never been shy when it comes to boasting about achievements, so I agree, it is a little odd that they haven't shown us. And even if they were to display one now, it might just be a replica. Anyone can order from a company that produces them. But when I look at these charts of monthly subscribers and monthly views for HTC, I think it shows steady growth across both measurements. And I'm not trying to be sectarianist, but there have been a lot of high profile cases in the past 5 years out of an area that is densely populated by Mormons. So it's kind of like Lauren and John were in the right place at the right time. And the growth seems consistent with the headline trends. I also want to point out some examples of the passion and loyalty of the HTC fan base. Some, like the ones on the left, are using their voices to recruit more members in demonstration of support, while others, like the ones on the right, appear to be trying to galvanize and mobilize support into action. This is an example of how comments with good intentions could be twisted into violating those stalking rules that Lauren was describing about recruiting and brigading. Back to the $2 million in revenue annually. All of the revenue streams to accumulate that, it takes work. I don't want to minimize that. I'm not trying to imply that Lauren and John just sit back and let the cash roll in. No way. They're putting in the work, but make no mistake, it is paying off exponentially. The expression that was used about burning down the kingdom resonates more deeply now that we have an idea of just how much the hidden true crime empire generates annually. Perhaps Christina's comment wasn't a threat, but a cautionary observation that if people knew the truth about Lauren's hidden agendas, secret smack talk, behind the backs bullying, potential exploitation of victims' families as content, and weaponization of the legal system, well, without a course correction, that cavalier hubris could leave the HTC brand smoldering in ashes. Lauren and John Matthias, don't you dare play dumb. You're supposedly learned people. You cannot possibly believe that the phrase burn your kingdom down is a literal physical threat. You are public figures. This is the life that you've chosen, the path that you've blazed, for better or worse. So, 7 people in a group chat comparing notes about your hypocrisy is not domestic terrorism. It's not. There's no place for piousness or sanctimony in advocacy. Part of being an advocate is deferring to the needs of the victims because you can choose to turn off the gas and step out of the burning house, and they are still in the fire. They don't have the luxury. They burn in a way you never will. The world is not your oyster. Entitlement is not a protected class. The bridges were not yours to burn, so put down the matchbook. You are not expected to be perfect. You're expected to be decent humans, and you have failed. The phrase burn your kingdom to the ground is a powerful metaphor for a destructive and selfish leader who would sacrifice their own nation for personal gain. It was a commentary on how your ambition has impaired your priorities and tarnished your integrity. It's often associated with a quote from Sun Tzu: an evil man will burn his own nation to the ground to rule over the ashes, which highlights how unchecked ambition can lead to the ruination of what they claimed to lead. It's destructive ambition. It symbolizes a leader's willingness to destroy the very foundation of their society, including its trust, its relationships, and its institutions, to maintain or gain power. It's self interest over common good. The quote suggests a leader who prioritizes personal gain above the welfare of their people, treating their nation as a means to an end. And it's a hollow victory. Ruling over ashes implies that even if the destructive leader achieves their goal, they are left with a broken and diminished remnant of what they once had. Personally, I'm not bitter or envious of Hidden True Crime's financial success. I believe that all money comes with unavoidable sacrifice, sacrificing privacy, boundaries, health by way of stress, or time with family. And given that those seem to be Lauren's and John's chief complaints right now, I wonder how much money they'd be willing to sacrifice to reclaim their privacy, peace, health, and quality time with their child. Just something to consider. And I apologize for the sharpness of my tone. Creators exploiting victims is one of my hot buttons. I don't normally speak with such venom, but my composure has been challenged by the unnecessary appropriation of victimhood. If you're like me and you enjoy this kind of deep dive into the behind the scenes income of content creators, please like, subscribe, share, and let me know in the comments some suggestions for other content creators' income that you'd be curious about. If there's enough interest, maybe I'll try to turn this into a series. Until the next one, remember our family rules. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and take care of our community. I love you.